Okay, why don't you go ahead and tell me who you are and who you're with.
I'm Kevin Hell. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of DivX.
And you are here in sunny San Francisco enjoying our pier and a beautiful day out here.
It's indeed a beautiful day.
And you know, I want to talk to you a little about DivX is in a really interesting position right now. You guys have been around for a long time, but we're moving from kind of a web video, PC video centric model to more of a TV one. And you're at a very interesting location as these two things intersect. Why don't you tell us a little bit about where DivX is at right now in the world of video and where it's going?
Sure. Well, we've been one of the most popular formats for downloading high quality video to your PC, and we also solve the problem of allowing you to then move that content to devices in your living room, devices like a DVD player, for instance. And that's been a big part of our historical success. But increasingly, devices are making a very big shift. They're moving from being a disconnected device where you have to burn a piece of content to a disk or to a USB stick and walk it over to a device, to being devices that are actually directly connected to the internet on the fly. And so this is a big transition point for the industry, for video in general. It's also a big transition point for us as DivX. And we're really spending a lot of time thinking about how we can play in this new world as devices become directly connected to the internet. One of our big plays here is called DivX Connected, and this is really an experience around not just video but media in general, which allows you to access your photos, your video, your music, as well as services from the internet through plugins on any device in your house that's connected to a television set, for instance. So it really allows you to have an Apple TV-like experience, but you're embedding it in devices that you'd buy at the store from any manufacturer. So that's the unique aspect of DivX here, is that we already have this very large ecosystem of devices with pretty much every major manufacturer in the world. We're in about 44% of all DVD players today have DivX inside. We're looking at actually then leveraging that to allow that content to, when these devices become connected to the internet, allowing you to have a much broader experience around your media in your living room ultimately.
So you brought up the Apple TV. I'll just be blunt. How is DivX going to go up against the likes of Netflix, Amazon, Apple TV? I mean, these are really big names with a lot of money. How is DivX going to take on these people and carve out not just a niche, but be able to kind of, you said earlier when we were talking that it's either win or go home. Right. How are you going to win?
It is a really a big and defining moment for DivX overall, and the way we're going to win is the way we've won in the past, which is really leverage the ecosystems and the communities that we've actually built out there, both on the web and with our device partners ultimately. You know, we did this in the early days around DVD players. We had WMV trying to get into DVD players through Microsoft. Microsoft is certainly a very large company. We were also doing the same because of the popularity of our technology and the fact that so many people were using our technology. We were able to get into a very large share of the world's DVD players, and Microsoft was not successful. Same thing here, as devices become connected to the internet, we're going to leverage the relationships that we already have with all the major device manufacturers around the world. You know, Toshiba, Pioneer, LG, Samsung, Sony, JVC, etc. And leverage those relationships and all the chip relationships that we have. They're supplying the devices, and the huge community that we've built on the internet. You know, we get something like 10 million unique visitors to our website every month, a significant number of downloads and player starts every month, and leverage that to really build an end-to-end ecosystem that allows you to take content from any service ultimately and link it up with any device from any manufacturer. That's really the vision that we're trying to solve, and we're in this unique position, being kind of the Switzerland between all the device makers and all of the different service providers, and linking it all together ultimately.
Apologies, evidently we're in Hitchcock's The Birds.
Being attacked by seagulls here.
The Hedron's going to get annihilated here in a second. You know, that's great to talk that way, but here, you know, you've got a relationship with. It seems like getting the content is so key. You've got a relationship with Sony and a relationship with Cinema Now right now, but you know, you can talk about becoming Switzerland and being platform agnostic, but at the end of the day, you've got to be able to offer the content. What kind of timeline are you looking at, you know, not just in the release of this, but to getting the kind of content that people want and want to watch on their TV? Because it's different than you know, PC video, or at least as up to now as what PC video has been.
Right. And there's two big types of content that we're really going after. What I'll call premium Hollywood content and web-based content. On the premium Hollywood side, the focus right now is on getting more studios and more retailers of content, distribute content in the DivX format. We have, as I've talked about, a relationship with Sony Pictures where the entire library of Sony Pictures television and motion picture content can be distributed in the DivX format, leveraging our technology. We also recently introduced Cinema Now as the first retailer to sell Hollywood premium content. And the goal here aggressively over the next 6 months to a year is to continue to add more studios, more Hollywood studios to that mix, as well as more retailers. We again want to be that common platform that everyone is using across the industry on that side of the equation. Also on the other side of the equation, which is the web-based content, all of the YouTubes and the Hulus and the Daily Motions, we want to also power as much of that content as we can as well, and make that content accessible in our platform. We recently, as you probably know, earlier this year shut down Stage 6, but we've since seen a very large adoption of our web player through third-party sites. We have over, we think, 2,000 sites right now that are using our web player today. We have a massive number, an expanding number of people downloading our web player over time, and that's just increasing the amount of content ultimately in the DivX format as well and making that accessible. So those are the two engines on the content side that we're really focusing on that will fuel this ecosystem and this movement we're talking about.
How are you going to move DivX? DivX is a really technical brand now. It's a very, everybody I know who's techie, they enjoy DivX, they like DivX, but, as an average consumer, I don't think DivX doesn't really connect with a mass audience yet. How are this, we're moving from a PC world to a TV world. How are you going to get DivX to move from that kind of techie brand to a mass market one where it's on everybody in Omaha,
right,
or wherever knows about it, or do they need to know about it?
Right. Well, I think that they do need to know about it. I think that they're increasingly finding out more and more about it. I think the way that we've historically getting attacked by all forms of aerial vehicles today, the way that people are finding out about it are actually through our partners. They're leveraging our partners' marketing dollars ultimately to do that. So every time you go into a Circuit City or Best Buy, you're going to see a DVD player. You're going to see a DivX logo on there. If you start a DivX video on your PC, you're going to see a DivX watermark on there, really being out in front for consumers and really being a symbol for a high quality experience around digital media, and that's ultimately what we're going for. When you see the DivX logo, we want the experience to be that it just works. You don't have to worry about what format it's in or whatnot. It's just going to work, and so that's really the brand experience that we're looking for.
But is that enough to differentiate? Because it seems like Microsoft plays for sure. It's everybody's kind of building these businesses around it just works. But is that going to be enough to get DivX kind of front and center and top of mind with people?
Well, I think it's a combination of really being a true, plays for sure. The question is, does it really play for sure? That's the question, right? The question here is really, does it really deliver on the brand promise? And what we're going for is an interoperable experience where you can take media and really play it back on any device from any manufacturer ultimately. And we think we've done that. Certainly our brand awareness in Europe, for instance, is extremely high. 95% of all DVD players in France right now are DivX certified. We're seeing the similar type of take-up and adoption happening in the US market today. We're around 30% of all DVD players in the US market. But that's growing over time, and so it's moving from being a kind of an early adopter phenomenon to being something that's much more mass market. And what we're really looking to build now is with all of these major Hollywood retailers and also all these device makers is to get that brand out there and have it be ubiquitous, have it represent not only that it just works, but also have it be a high quality brand experience also, that this is a really high quality video experience that you're going to get on all these devices, and it's going to be persistent across all the different devices in your life. It's not going to only appear on a Zune or Xbox 360 or on a Microsoft Extender. It's going to appear across a number of devices from a number of manufacturers.
So is this a make or break for DivX? Is this like a key years, the next 365 days, like you said, win or go home kind of thing? Like, how will you know if you've won, and what's your time frame for that? And is it all riding on this kind of TV platform future?
Well, I think it is a win or go home and defining moment for DivX. I mean, I think we do have a very profitable and growing licensing business, but that business has been based historically on a disconnected model around playback. And as we move toward a model where devices become directly connected to the internet, what you need to do to compete really changes quite a bit. Formats become the format the content is in becomes a lot less important, because content can be transcoded on the fly on the internet, and it really becomes what kind of experience do you provide, what kind of services do you provide, what kind of content do you provide. And so as that occurs, the rules of the game change. The upside there, if you win, is enormous. We think we are well positioned. We think we have a very vibrant ecosystem, as I mentioned, across all the different device makers, and also on our through our community, through the website. But it is a very defining moment for the company over the next 12 months to 2 years, and it'll happen. It won't happen overnight, but it will happen over the next, I'd say, next couple of years, I'd say.
All right. Well, thanks so much for stopping by. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.